All right, welcome to our explainer. Today, we're diving into a whole new kind of wellness toolkit. We're talking about products that promise these hyper-targeted fixes for just about everything, from your focus to how you connect with people. And we're going way beyond your standard multivitamins. We're looking at things like instant dissolve strips and even injectable pens, all based on the source material we've been digging into. Does that sound familiar? You know that feeling, right? Where you're just a little bit off, maybe physically, maybe mentally, or even emotionally. It's something pretty much all of us have felt. And that exact feeling, well, that's what the modern wellness industry is absolutely zeroing in on. And believe me, the solutions are changing, and they're changing fast. We're not in the world of one-size-fits-all vitamins anymore. We're stepping into an era of these incredibly specific products. Things like strips that just melt on your tongue, or injectable pens. And each one is designed to do one very specific thing. So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at why quick wellness is such a big deal right now. Then we'll get into a toolkit for daily support. After that, we dive into two really fascinating injectables, one called the Love Pen and another that's all about boosting your cells. And we'll wrap it all up by asking the big question: your wellness, your choice. Okay, so first up, this idea of quick wellness. A huge theme in the source material is our need for speed and convenience. I mean, who has time anymore? So all the products we're about to look at are really built to slide right into a busy life and, more importantly, to deliver their benefits as fast as they possibly can. So let's take these oral strips as our first example. The whole concept is actually brilliant in its simplicity. You just pop a little strip on your tongue and it dissolves in seconds. And here's the key part. The ingredients are said to skip your digestive system entirely and go straight into your bloodstream. The promise behind all that? A much, much faster effect. Now, the source material actually calls these things 4 magic boxes, which is kind of fun. Each box is tailored to a super common, everyday need. The whole idea is that you have this personalized little support system that you can literally carry around in your pocket. And here's the toolkit itself. You've got immunity with that familiar power trio of vitamin D, selenium, and zinc. Then there's energy, which is pretty interesting because it uses a bunch of B vitamins to give you a lift without any of the caffeine or taurine jitters. For the other end of the day, there's a sleep strip with melatonin. And finally, focus, which uses folate and vitamin B12 to help sharpen your concentration. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The source brings up a super specific and honestly kind of clever use for that focus strip. It's meant to help manage that awful crash some people feel when their ADHD medication starts to wear off. So let's break that down. The source explains that as a stimulant medication fades, it can just unleash this wave of intense fatigue, the rebound effect. This focus strip is presented as a way to get your concentration back, and it's framed as a more natural way to do it without having to take another full, heavy dose of medication. Okay, so if the dissolvable strips are for your daily tune-ups, what's the next level? Well, the trend seems to be heading towards more potent interventions. We're now moving into the world of injectable pens, and we're starting with one that's all about intimacy and connection. That is a direct quote from the source material. And you gotta admit, that is a bold claim. It's not just being sold as something for your libido, it's being positioned as something that enhances the whole experience. The emotional side, the physical side, all of it. So what's actually in this thing? Well, it's a mix of 2 key ingredients. First, you've got oxytocin. You've probably heard of it as the hormone of love because it's so important for social bonding. Then, that's paired with something called bremelanotide. The source says this is a peptide that works on a totally different level, by directly stimulating the pleasure and desire centers in the brain. And when you put those two together, the list of claimed benefits is pretty wide. It covers the physical stuff, like boosting libido and making orgasm easier, but it also gets into the emotional side of things, like reducing anxiety and supposedly deepening that sense of connection you have in a relationship. But of course, as soon as you start talking about injectable pens for desire, a huge question pops up. Is it actually safe? And the source material seems to know that this is exactly what people will be asking. So the way the source answers this is by framing these ingredients as natural. They're substances that are already in your body. The argument is that they're safe because they're being used in really controlled therapeutic doses and, this is a key point, under medical supervision. They're trying to draw a clear line between this and what they'd call an artificial stimulant.
All right, on to our last product. It's another injectable pen, but this one shifts our focus completely, away from the emotional and deep into the biological. If that last pen was about connection, this one is all about the very foundation of our health, our cells. We're talking energy, regeneration, and even anti-aging.
The source gives this a really catchy nickname, a cellular vitamin. And that's just so clever, right? It immediately frames this thing as an essential nutrient, not just for you, but for every single cell that makes you, well, you. So what on earth is NAD+? The full name is a mouthful, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. But think of it like a little helper molecule that's in every single one of our cells. The source describes its job as absolutely critical. It's fundamental for helping our cells make energy, for repairing damaged DNA, and for regenerating. It's a real workhorse. And because it works at that super basic cellular level, the benefits it's supposed to have are incredibly broad. The source says it can boost your energy by working on your mitochondria, the power plants of your cells. And from there, the claimed effects just branch out everywhere. Better focus, faster physical recovery, metabolism support, and of course the big one, a natural anti-aging effect. So who is this actually for? Well, the profile they paint is pretty broad, but also very clear. It's for people who are just fighting that constant fatigue. It's for those who are trying to push their physical and mental performance to the next level. And maybe most of all, it's for people who are really interested in longevity and how to fight the biological effects of aging. And this is where the claims get truly massive. We're not just talking about looking or feeling a bit younger day to day. The source explicitly suggests that by helping the body slow down the aging process on a cellular level, it might even help us ward off some of those terrifying degenerative diseases, like Alzheimer's down the road. So, okay, we've looked at all these different products, from simple strips to these complex injections. What's the big picture? What is all this telling us about where wellness is headed? When you step back, the trend is crystal clear. It's all about precision. We've moved from this old school, hey, just take a vitamin approach, to a model where you can pinpoint a specific problem, whether it's focus, libido, or cellular energy, and then apply a very targeted solution. And really, this leaves us with a fascinating and, I think, a really critical question to think about. As these tools for optimizing ourselves get more and more powerful, more and more precise, where exactly do we draw the line between wellness and just outright human enhancement? It's a conversation that's coming for sure. Thanks for joining this explainer.